Building a positive attitude begins with having a confidence in yourself. This is the Undiscovered Story.
Hello, this is the Blues Traveler, and for this episode, we have a rock and roll unit from Jakarta, Indonesia, with a very, very special guest. Please welcome kelompok penerbang roket dan Eka Annash. Ini formasi yang sangat berbahaya pemirsa. Jadi Hobotalks Audience hari ini ada salah satu band rock favorit gue, ada kelompok penerbang roket. Thank you udah pada datang. Juga ada sahabat gue sesama rock and rollers juga, ada Eka Annash. How are you guys? Apa kabar nih, Vic?
Baik dong.
Apa kabar,
Baik dong.
Eka juga looks fresh ya. Coki kemana nih?
Coki lagi.
Itu ada di balik.
Apa kabar, Cok?
Lagi liburan ke Bali dia juga lagi
Ngeri.
manggung.
Kalau band jet set tuh gini, man. Terpisah karena liburan dan wanita. Oke,
Dia
sekarang
punya
gimana?
istri.
Oh, dia udah punya istri. Ya, wanita yang sudah menjadi istrinya. Jadi memang sudah harusnya begitu ya. Apa kabar nih? Baik-baik aja berarti kan? Gak ada
Baik.
sesuatu kan?
Nggak ada.
Karena Coki lagi liburan. Cerita sedikit dong kesibukan KPR nih sekarang.
KPR kita lagi bikin album, ini pasti. Udah hampir selesai malah.
Oke, terus kenapa ada Eka nih? Nah, Hobotalks Audien pasti bingung kok ada Eka Annash nih sekarang nih. Ada apa nih? Ada project ini ada Eka Annashnya atau gimana nih?
Ada.
Oh, ada
Makanya
Eka Annash. Kenapa ke Eka nih album ini langsung terpikir gue mau bikin album sama Eka?
Jadi awal sebetulnya album ini itu kita udah bikin dari tahun 2018 2019 ya.
Materi musiknya.
Materi musiknya.
Oke.
Tapi udah itu kita udah rekaman semuanya. Cuman entah kenapa kayaknya momennya kayak belum pas di saat itu untuk ngeluarin ya kan.
Oke.
Udah seiring dengan waktu, terus kena pandemi, bla bla bla. Terus akhirnya idenya si Risma sih ini yang ini kalau dibarengin sama Bang Eka kayak seru nih gitu.
Oke.
Dan habis itu dikasih dengan ke Bang Eka pun juga kayak anjing nih keren banget nih ini ya udah ayolah gas lah. Ya udah berarti emang jadwalnya di album ini emang kayaknya bareng sama.
Oh, berarti benar based on kayak moodnya lagi dapetnya kayaknya Maika ya, nggak ada pertimbangan yang lain gitu ya. Terus lu sendiri gimana Kak begitu dapet tawaran dari band ugal-ugalan ini nih? Gimana nih tiba-tiba suruh ngisi materi yang mereka udah bikin dari 2018? Sorry gue udah denger dan lagunya keren banget. Gue pikir kayak dibikin bareng gitu Ray. Ternyata enggak ya, materi musiknya udah jadi disaudarin ke lu. Terus lu pertama denger gimana Kak?
Gue happy lah. Di banduran gue.
Ya,
Lagi duduk atau duduk weh.
Gue tangkis.
takis tuh.
Seneng lah, karena kan gue fans juga, jujurnya penggemarnya juga dari pertama keluar tuh menurut gue KPR tuh spesial sih gitu ya, beda dari yang lain lah gitu. Terus itu gue juga nggak tahu, tiba-tiba suatu malam dapat telepon dari Risma, Bang lagi sibuk nggak lo katanya. Jam 1 malam telepon.
Ciri anak band rock banget tuh sih, jam 1, jam 3.
Dan waktu itu gue masih melek gue bilang gitu. Ya kita punya, kasih tau tuh dia tuh kita punya materi kata gitu. Terus udah pendem dari 2018-19 cuma karena potong pandemi belum digarap gitu. Terus ini belum ada vokalnya, ini anak-anak mikir kalau lagi nyanyi kayaknya oke nih ya dites aja dulu. Terus dikasihlah satu lagu itu si Ambisi untuk ya testing lah kayak tester ya. Terus apa di studio waktu itu ya? Langsung di studio. Gue didengerin ya kan. Ada satu lagu yang udah jadi nih, bilang lo datang studio deh ke rumahnya Vicky waktu itu. Didengerin, oke nih, gue bilang gitu. Yaudah gue bawa pulang dulu deh, gue bilang gitu. Tapi bahkan pas lagi kita nongkrong di studio itu, kebikin lah satu lagu langsung ya.
Iya.
Lu belum ada waktu itu ya.
Langsung liburan juga.
Lagi liburan. Terus nongkrong aja tuh langsung jadi satu. Bener-bener, nah itu ada satu lagu ya.
Iya.
Yang beneran.
Lu Coki, Vicky.
Iya. Gitaran, gua langsung isi vokal, berat jadi dalam ada sejam tuh. Anjing gue bisa kayak begini ya gue gitu. Terus si
chemistry-nya udah ada.
Si Amsi gue pulang, gue tulis. Itu kebetulan melodi vokalnya sih udah ada dari si Coki gitu. Dia udah yang humming melodi, terus bagian chorus tuh udah ada liriknya. Jadi gue ngisi yang verse gitu. Dicoba jadi langsung. Terus waktu itu dia si Coki tour dulu ya ke Europe. Europe ya?
Ke Aussie.
Aussie, ke Australia sama si Ali. Terus kita ada manggung sama Risma langsung. Risma ini manajernya by the way ya. Langsung dibikinin panggung.
Di Risma ya, Berita Angkasa ya?
Betul. Panggung.
Bukan Risma Mensos kan? Kita nggak ngomongin itu ya.
Tampilannya gimana sih? Rilis dulu ya. Rilis. Terus manggung, ternyata wah anjing jadi nih mah gitu. Langsung dilempar gue nih satu album, buset gue.
Oh jadi lu nggak tahu awalnya single dulu, baru jadi ke album nih?
Iya, Risma udah, Annash udah ngomong nih ada satu album, cuma lo tes
coba dulu dari single.
Kayak gitu, dan ternyata wah ini sih cakep nih gue sih, ayo deh sini dah.
Dan Kalau gue sih I'm lucky enough, jadi waktu proses rekaman lu kebenaran gue lagi ke studionya Vicky kan. Terus kayak pas datang lu ada, terus gue denger kayak dari awal gue denger KPR era album brand minuman itu tuh disodorin temen gue, terus kayak di band kayak dengerin lu deh vokalisnya gue gitu. Kayaknya si vokalisnya dia dengerin Brandaus juga, dan ketika lu bareng tuh kayak anjing gue nyaksiin di band bareng gitu kak. Jadi kayak gue pikir ini konsep yang gimana lu udah set up, ternyata enggak, ngalir gitu aja gitu. Dan pertama gue denger ya langsung gila banget. Gue kayak gue pikir lu memang nongkrong bareng, bikin lagu bareng, karena materinya udah blend in banget. Dan begitu ambisi keluar, ya sebelumnya kita udah dengerin bareng tempat lu kan, kayak fucking hell gitu, emang anjing nih lagu keren banget gitu.
Ya makanya gue bilang juga dari awal juga di press release waktu lagi bikin gitu kan, ya karena seagama aja sih menurut gue, kayak gitu, turunannya sama.
Betul,
gitu kan.
betul.
Apa,
Satu ibu beda bapak,
betul.
bapaknya banyak. Ada yang jadi Brandaus, ada yang jadi KPR, ketemu bareng namanya sama. Matanya sama nih.
Kalau kata hadirnya sanatnya sama.
Sanatnya sama. Ke atasnya sama gitu.
Jadinya nyambung lah.
Pertanyaan gue kak, gue lihat kan waktu pertama kali comebacknya Ray, videonya kan Risma ngirim juga, gue lihat dulu juga. Gila energinya masif gitu kak. Nah lu sendiri jangan karena ini kan episode KPR nih.
Iya.
Di luar lu sendiri ngelihat nih band after liburannya Ray nih, and then comeback gitu. Energinya gimana menurut lu kan?
Sama lah, makin lebih gede malah ya.
Exactly man.
Iya, dan yang nonton juga udah nungguin.
Iya, nabinya nih ada di sini.
Iya. Balik lagi, jadi itu gig spesial sih menurut gua. Itu menurut gua memang harus dibikin kayak gitu.
Gue juga sorry karena lagi di luar kota gitu kan, Vic, pengen banget.
Parah.
Iya. Lu sendiri gimana, Rick? Lihat fans lu, terus bandmates lu, terus adanya Eka after lu comeback gimana?
Gue seneng banget lah, karena ya
Ngetrat.
pas comeback kan lo balik nih ke dunia nyata, selalu liburan. Libur dari dunia. Iya, libur dari dunia loh, bukan libur dari apa? Bukan libur dari musik atau libur dari apa nih? Gue libur dari dunia. Gue balik ke dunia lagi,
Dunia lu ya.
main musik, dan gue seneng banget. Terus momennya seperti itu, dan ya kebetulan lagi ada yang kita rilis waktu itu, jadi energinya menurut gue luar biasa.
Gue selalu sama anak-anak fansnya sih, pencara roket, waduh gila sih, gue parah sih menurut gue. Kita energi yang dikeluarin sama mereka dibalikin lagi berlipat-lipat kali, jadi
benar-benar
anjir gila.
Jadi tuker-tukeran ya. Tuker-tukeran ludah emang malam itu ya gue lihat. Kalau kiri gila sih.
Bahasa halusnya apa? Main lendir.
Biar kembali
Oke, kita bahas sedikit karena singlenya baru keluar nih si Ambisi nih.
Ya.
Lu sendiri Kak, sebagai songwriternya lu sendiri kan?
Lirik lah, lirik.
Ah iya, lirikisnya di lu. Itu talking about what?
Waktu itu yang waktu gua dengerin di studio Vicky si Coki kan udah jadi tuh
Notasinya ya.
chorusnya ya.
Oh,
Terus ini tentang apa nih Cok, gue bilang gitu. Ya ini pokoknya tentang buat teman-teman kita agak luas sih ini, buat teman-teman kita yang lagi mau usaha ngapain band gitu, misalnya yang mau rilis atau mau maju, ya jangan patah semangat, mesti ada ambisinya dong, mesti ada PD-nya, dia bilang gitu. Wah oke nih, gue bilang gitu. Jadi mesti ada drive-nya lah gitu. Jangan setengah-setengah gitu. Ya udah, gue bawa pulang, gue interpretasi sendiri, tapi ini lebih kayak conversation antara satu orang ke yang lain gitu, tapi juga bisa diinterpretasi buat rame-rame gitu kan. Gitu.
Dan kalian juga sih, lu tuh di luar temen emang gue ngefans juga as a musician Kak, kayak salah satu penulis lirik Indonesia favorit gue ya Kak Annash gitu kan. Jadi kayak begitu ngeblend sama band ugal-ugalan favorit gue juga kayak anjing nih banget gitu, terus tiba-tiba jadi album. Wah gila nih, tadi bocorannya gue sempet denger satu lagu lain yang membangkitkan era-era muda itu kayaknya.
Jadi umur ya?
Iya. Lu sendiri ada gak Kak kayak drive? Ya maksudnya kan beda, ada gap quote unquote ya, generasinya kan beda gitu. Ketika balik lagi ketemu KPR, kalau gue personally baru ketemu drummernya aja bikin gue muda 10 tahun gitu, ngerti gak sih lu? Kayak anjing nih, semangat rock and roll lagi gitu. Lu ngerasain itu juga gak sih?
Gue jujur kalau ketemu teman-teman musik itu gue nggak udah melupakan umur sih.
Oke.
Udah nggak mikirin
lupa umur ya?
Iya, nggak, maksud gue juga selalu ada yang dipelajarin dari teman-teman yang lebih muda gitu. Gue nggak pernah kayak gue lebih tua lu sih gimana, aduh nggak deh. Jadi
senioran apa sih?
Iya, gue jujur nggak mikirin itu sih, tapi lebih kayak ya chemistry kita, energinya gimana nih gitu. Gue justru seneng dapat injeksi barunya gitu.
Sama banget.
Kayak gitu. Jadi nggak masalah sih. Terus juga sama anak-anak nih udah bersinggungan panggung kan beberapa kali udah sering. Kita waktu itu yang apa? Yang kolep-kolepan nih, pernah manggung bareng.
Lu covers.
Iya, tukar-tukaran cover. Coki pernah ikut di album kita juga gitu. Jadi ya udah bukan
sesuatu yang baru banget.
Nggak aku lah gitu. Iya.
Kalau lu sendiri Vic, KPR gitu, begitu akhirnya sama Eka gitu memutuskan bareng, apa sih lu dapet dari sosok seorang Eka Annash sih?
Wah,
iya, gue yang seru tuh ini Kak, jadi kadang gue juga lagi aktif main sama temen-temen gitu kan, jadi kayak bener hilang lintas gap umur ya, maksudnya kayak nggak meters, yang penting tuh energi, kita selalu bahas itu kan, chemistry itu. Jadi tuh gue pengen Hobotalks dia tahu tuh kayak itu harusnya nggak jadi batasan gitu, bahwa lu lebih tua lebih muda, yang tua sosokan, yang muda segen gitu. Kalau lu sendiri gimana ketika sama Eka, apa yang lu dapat tuh?
Yang gue dapet itu kayak energinya lo lain lagi gitu loh, kayak apa ya, beda. Gue mendapatkan energi yang gede, tapi beda lagi, apalagi Bang Eka kan juga bisa dibilang experience-nya di atasnya APR nih, dan Brandals pun tuh juga salah satu jadi referensinya KPR kan, kayak jadi bukan masalah segan abang-abangan nih, bukan itu doang, kayak wah anjing ternyata ini kayak gini ya. Kalau gue misalnya sama Bang Eka nih energinya beda lagi nih, karena KPR kan kita bertiga kan sebetulnya kan bandnya nggak ada frontman nih. Karena iya KPR kan kayak gua Recok itu ya kita sama aja gitu loh orangnya, jadi kayak ya
posisinya
kita bertiga ya frontman-nya kita bertiga nih gitu. Terus dengan hadirnya si Bang Eka ini kayak yang jadi lengkap lagi gitu loh, jadi kayak ini ada porosnya nih musiknya nih, dan itu yang bikin jadi beda lagi. Yang bedanya yang lebih kayak wah anjing, jadi kayak ini rasanya band kalau ada vokal band itu kayak gini nih gitu.
Jadi ada babe di dalam.
Kan kagak ada gapnya. Terus dia kayaknya kalau di angkatan itu paling vampir ya dia, man.
Benar.
Iya kan? Kalau kata si Sola paling vampir, paling ganteng, angkatan paling bersih si Eka. Ya kan lah, kata lu gitu kan. So what's next guys? After single, album nih kapan mau rilis?
Album sih semoga kalau
Kita mau rilis foto bugil dulu ya.
Oke.
Enggak ya?
kita jual di OnlyFans.
Iya.
Kita
Coba
bikin
lihat
OnlyFans.
ID-nya apa? Kalau enggak buku masak Ray
Oh,
Baker.
Chef Baker.
Next, apa nih mau
Next,
rilis?
pokoknya semoga tidak telat nih, kita punya deadline apa kita patokin sih.
Oke.
Setelah lebaran ini udah bisa keluar albumnya.
Oke, jadi full album, after lebaran nih bakal rilis. Bisa bocorin dikit nggak judul lagunya atau apa nih? Gue sih udah denger, sorry ya. Gue udah tahu, pokoknya roh jahat ini sih ya. Ini old school, rock and roll.
Yang kemarin yang udah kita rilis kan Ambisi. Ya.
Benar.
Habis Ambisi.
Ambigu.
Lihat dulu nanti.
Ambigu. Pokoknya bakal tungguin aja rilisan terbaru dari kelompok penerbang roket bersama Eka Annash. Mudah-mudahan lancar rilis albumnya Kak. Dan after this akan ada kolaborasi karena Coki lagi liburan. Gue ikutan sama kelompok penerbang roket sama Eka juga. Dan kita lihat energi yang tadi dibahas tuh kayak gimana ngehenya. Oke, thank you guys for coming. Lancar semua projectnya. Eka lancar, thank you for coming, Vic. Keep on rocking ya. This is the Blues Traveler for Hobotalks. Bye-bye.
Hello, Laurie, Wright. Hello from Bali to London.
Hello from London, Dayu.
Yes, nice meeting you. Welcome to the Hobotalks. First of all, I think it's an honor, it's a pleasure. I check all your music, your performances. I'm a fan. But let's introduce you and your story to Hobotalks audience.
Wright, I'm from England, London. I grew up in the West Country, but I moved up here about 12 years ago. And been here making music and doing all sorts for a fair few years now. It's going well.
Can you share with us how did you start as a musician?
Yeah, so I wasn't born into a musical family, but there was a piano in the house, an old piano that had come through the generations, about 100-year-old piano or something.
Oh.
And I just started playing on it when I was really young. And my mum was like, "Oh, that's actually quite good. Do you fancy having piano lessons?" And I was like, "Yeah, cool." Did that for 7 years, from the age of 7 to 14. And I didn't actually enjoy doing the lessons, but my mum was always like, "You'll thank me one day." So this is me thanking my mum now. Because it gave me a really good...
I thank your mum.
But so that gave me a musical grounding. And I'm sure it really helped. And then when I was 14, my brother, for my 14th birthday, got me both Libertines albums. And that really turned my head, Pete Doherty, Carl Barat, the chaos of it, the songs, the backstory, everything. I was just completely engrossed by everything that they had to offer. And I immediately I regret doing this now. And I wish I'd listened to my mum, but I just gave up the piano and started and persuaded my mum to get me a guitar. And then I just started playing all the time, 8 hours a day. I'd come home from school and just lock myself in my room and play the guitar. And then I started going busking on the street with my guitar. And then I'd only had a guitar for about a year and a half, but someone saw me who had a little stage at Glastonbury Festival. He had a market stall in the town I grew up, Cheltenham. He had a market stall and he saw me busking in my school uniform. I was only 15. And he asked me if I wanted to come and play Glastonbury on his little stage.
That was when you were 15.
Yeah. And I'd been writing some songs, and I had a little band, and we were doing quite well locally, selling out small shows and stuff like that. But I just went off. He just wanted me to do it acoustic on my own. But I brought my guitarist with me actually at the time. But we had a great time, did Glastonbury. And that's where I unfortunately, actually, that's where I discovered like drugs and all that. But you know, that's
We're gonna talk about this later.
yeah.
We also got.
But yeah, so it was all good until then. I was just busking in my school uniform, doing okay, like for a 15-year-old with money. Like I was getting money most days going busking, and yeah, it was really good.
That's amazing. So like 15 years old, like busking in your uniform, and somebody just like offered you to play Glastonbury?
Yeah.
Damn.
It was only a small stage, and it was at the same time as the Verve, and there was about 50 odd people watching me. But it was a great experience, free ticket and all the stuff like that. And it was like, yeah, I was like, I knew that I already knew that's what I wanted to do, but that was like validation that I could do this, maybe go the distance with it if I, did all the right things.
That's crazy because you mentioned the Libertines. That's how you started, because I introduced you as like, he reminds me of like the Libertines. And then you mentioned the Verve, Glastonbury. This like a teenage in me, like when I was also around that age, it's like screaming like, ah. It was really big back in the day, like here in Indonesia as well. I had like my hair was short and just like cut like that. It's like British in fashion, and all these bands.
And
so when
jacket.
I discovered, exactly, when I discovered you, I was like, oh my God, I have to interview him, So.
Oh, thanks for reaching out. It means the world.
No, of course. So yeah, how do you describe your music?
Sort of like heavily lyrical, highly driven rock and roll music, really, with a real focus on the lyrics. And it annoys me sometimes. I get comments going like, oh, what's he saying? I can't hear what he's saying. And I'll like get annoyed at myself because the words are so important for me. But the fact that I'm going so fast and angry means the words sometimes get lost in the music. But I'll have to just write them down and put them in the album sleeve, and then people can work out what I'm saying. But
that's true. How do you approach like songwriting? Like how is like your creative process?
I'll usually have it will be like I'll sit down at either the guitar or the piano and just sort of mess around till I get something that sounds cool. Or sometimes I might have a melody first. Sometimes I'll have the words first. Like it'll be an idea, like one line will pop out at me, and then I'll be like, right, let's go to the guitar, the piano, and then just begin from there. But it will be always personal experience. Quite a lot of those themes are addiction-based, recovery-based, because I really know about that because I've lived it. So I try not to talk about things that I don't know too much about. Like when I was younger, I wrote quite a lot of political music, but I'm not a politician. I don't really know all the ins and outs of it. So I just kind of parked that to one side. I know I might disagree with myself the following day if it's about politics or something that I don't know too much about. And also it doesn't personally sit well with me capitalizing financially off an anti-capitalist message. Like it's okay if people want to do that, that's fine, but I personally, that's not the route I go down. So I just stick to things that I know about: love, addiction, sex, drugs, whatever, just like stuff like that, and not anything that I don't know too much about. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I really like how you put it that way, like capitalizing of like anti-capitalism, because it feels like you're a hypocrite when you do that. But like a lot of people do that. So yeah. I'm not judging here, but I like your approach. Just during pandemic, you kind of like cleared out and you just kind of rediscover yourself. And then you did a couple of charity projects. So can you share that with us?
Yeah. So until about the age of 16, when I played at Glastonbury, I was like quite anti-drugs. So when I got back from Glastonbury, it was all sort of downhill from there. I'd started very well in my life. in terms of the musical thing. And then my band sort of fell apart because I was just doing drugs all the time. Started doing cocaine as well. Once again, just took that to excess. And then by the time I was 18, I was selling drugs, selling methadone. It was legal at the time. There wasn't any ecstasy around, so everyone started getting methadone, which is similar to crystal meth, but with caffeinone instead of amphetamine.
It was legal back then?
It was in this country,
Wow.
yeah. It was £3 a gram online, and then I used to sell it for £15 a gram.
Wow,
So,
way to make money. Yeah?
But
And it's legal. I'm not gonna blame you.
I got it delivered in the post, and sometimes it wouldn't. They, if you're not there, they post a little letter through the door saying, "Oh, it's at the post office." So I'd turn up to the post office like, "Have you got my plant food?" Because that's how they got around the system. They said it was plant food. So
Don't do this at home, okay?
But yeah, so it's crazy. That period of time was particularly messy, but that was the kind of where it had gone. In only 2 years, I'd gone from doing no drugs to selling drugs and using them every day, smoking lots of weed as well, drinking loads, but mainly just doing loads of that. But then when I quit smoking weed when I was like 21, which is when alcohol really took hold of me, because before then I didn't mind smoking a joint and going to bed, but once I stopped smoking weed, I would just there was no stopping me. It was just like alcohol, cocaine constantly, and whatever else, and it continued that way until I was 28. There were multiple different things that happened. I always lost my girlfriend, whoever I was. They always realised quite quickly and were like, "Whoa," and always getting kicked out of wherever I was living, and constantly living on people's sofas, and then you get thrown off that sofa and you have to go and find another one. And around the age of 21 as well, that's when I started smoking crack, which is where it got really bad. But it was when I was up in Camden. I was busking every day, and just all the other people who were around me who were now my mates were like other homeless people, and so it gradually becomes normalized that just smoking crack is fine, it's just cocaine, until I moved back to my mum and dad's house.
What was the turning point in your life that you kind of realized? I'm pretty sure you realized for sometimes like I gotta change, but you were kind of trapped in this circle, right?
It was my 28th birthday, and I'd been out for like 4 days. I'd just been kicked out of my house. I'd just lost my girlfriend again, do you know what I mean? It was all, anyway, lost my girlfriend. And then my band, who I'd been with for like 5 years, we were called The Lodgers, and we were quite good, but just crazy. That split up as well. So in the space of a week, there was no band anymore, nowhere to live, no girlfriend. And I woke up on park bench by Kieran, my business partner now, and he's the harmonica player in my band and like best mate. And he found me in town on a park bench, and he had previously, a year before that, he'd gone sober, clean and sober. And so all throughout this time, I'd seen him getting better and better and better, and he was a big inspiration because he woke me up, and I remember just crying and crying and crying. And him and my friend Becky, they just like held me and were like, "It's gonna be all right," blah blah blah. And I made a decision to go sober after that.
1, 2, 3, 4. Don't care, and I haven't even got the shrapnel for the bus where I'm gonna get. Shots on the face. The shiver on the drums. It's tearing on TV. Like I said, stop the sway, I'm wild and free. Everything out of my category. West Side lover, out of many ways. My West Side lover's the best, I'm a lover. My West Side lover's the best, I say. My West Side lover's the best, I said there's no con. Like I said, stop the sway, I'm wild and free. Everything out of my category. My West Side lover, out of many ways. My West Side lover's the best, I'm a lover. My West Side lover's the best, I said. My West Side lover's the best, I said there's no con.
Anyway,
Gotcha.
so like, yeah, of course. So like, what, because we talk a lot, this is like the last questions. We talk a lot about your music, your musical journey, how you started, your personal journey, which is very, like we are touched and you are such an inspiration. So what is your final advice to young musician, maybe who just started, or musician or creative in general, who also like struggling with addiction or like struggling with, this kind of like, rock and roll life, and they know it's not good for them, but they just keep doing it anyway, because yes, to be fair, it feels good for the moment,
Yeah.
So do you want to share your advices for them to just make it in the industry?
So first things first, the person with the cigar in their mouth, the record company boss, is not going to turn up and say, "Oh, we'll make you a star, kid. Chuck you loads of money, go and make an album." It's not going to happen. It doesn't happen anymore because there isn't the money in the music industry, which is why you don't really get addicts making it so much anymore, making it big anymore, and people who are tricky to work with and stuff like that, which on the one hand is a shame, but there isn't the money in the music industry anymore, so those people are not going to give you a chance, and you don't need them anyway. You need record labels, you don't need anything now because of social media. You need a sober head most of the time I would argue that particularly if you're an addict, you need to not do any drugs or drink anything at all, or you will constantly fail repeatedly. But you need to be present on social media and to find, really look into it and find social media marketing companies, not the ones who DM you saying, "Oh, we'll give you 100,000 follows," and all that's bollocks. But really do the research. Find a band who you know is doing well through social media, like say what we did with West End Lover. Find out who the firm is. In this case, Hookings Management. Email them. There are loads of companies doing it, and it's really great. But I would personally recommend Hookings Management. But anyway, you need to stop drinking, stop taking drugs, become a business person, because the music business is not coming to you. And even if they do, they're looking to rip you off. They are not your friend. They're going to take a percentage. They're going to try and mold you into something that you're not. They're going to try and make you essentially stop making rock and roll music because they don't think that sells anymore. So fuck them. You're going to have to do it yourself, and you can do it, but you've got to sober up, and it's going to be great, man.
I mean, that's amazing, because I think, yes, I agree, because now like people, they say like rock and roll is dead. It's not dead while we're living.
Yeah.
But again, like back then, it takes discipline, it takes hard work, you know, not only the glam and the rock and roll and the girls and all that.
Yeah. Because that won't happen anyway. You won't get all the girls and the thing. It'll just be you in the corner of a pub drunk. That's like, it's not it's not cool. It doesn't fucking get you there. And you've got to become a business person these days, because that's just how it is.
Attitude is a little thing that make a big difference. It's a long way to the top if you want to rock and roll.